Gamji has achieved a lot of things, which I think during the session, some of our members, both mentors and mentees, will share with you. So having said that, I would like to extend my mic to Buhari Lawan Muhammad, which will proceed from there. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Abdul. Hello, everyone. Good day. My name is Buharilo Muhammad, and I'm going to be your moderator on this webinar. It's my pleasure to welcome you all on this very important and interesting webinar on scholarship hunting. So, Scholarship Hunt is a webinar series produced by Gamji Educational and Mentorship Forum, and this is a third of its kind. And our today's topic is navigating scholarship application challenges and first-hour difficulties, which is going to be an insight from personal experience. So we have two very important topic to discuss today, which I think is a very important for uh, students who are seeking for scholarship opportunities as well as current postgraduate students. So the first topic is we are going to see or discuss about the challenges uh, most of the students face during application. And these challenges may range from financial challenges, or it may be a credential, or it may be application materials. And the second topic, which I found it very important, if not the most important topic, that this topic is not quite being discussed in forum like this, uh, and I think it's a topic that it should be discussing, and every student need to understand it due to its significance. And the topic is the challenges or the difficulties that you may face after you get the scholarship award. I mean, after you enroll into the postgraduate studies. So today, to help us discuss this topic, our esteemed scholars from various uh, universities across the globe studying in various fields will help us digest this topic and hear it from their personal experience so that we can learn from them and then try to see how we can take measures and then improve our scholarship searches. So before I talk a lot, I will quickly try to enter the discussion. We have two rounds. First round, we'll discuss about scholarship application, and then the second round will be about the challenges. So our first speaker in the first round is in the person of Ibrahim Haruna Ibrahim, who is currently he's a PhD student in biomedical science, specifically focusing on cancer biology, and he's studying in China Medical University, Taiwan. Ibrahim did his bachelor in human anatomy in Yusuf Metamasila University, Kano, and then he did his MSc in biomedical science in China Medical University. But before I proceed, I will urge with everyone, please to mute your mic so that we can have a peaceful discussion. So Ibrahim, are you here with me?
Yes, I can hear you. Hope you can hear me too.
Oh yeah, I can hear you, Ibrahim. So Ibrahim, he has how can I say, secure several scholarship awards such as Taiwan government scholarship for master study, and currently he's a PhD. So Ibrahim, how are you?
I am fine, Alhamdulillah. How is work?
Well, fine, Alhamdulillah. So it's going to be an interactive discussion, and I know. First of all, thank you very much for joining us today, despite short notice. As you know, some of our discussant may not have time to. They have some issues, so they cannot join us today. But Ibrahim, on short notice, he agreed to join us and share his experience. So, Ibrahim,
Mm.
you are how can I say, you are recently or a very recent scholar, and you have just concluded your masters and you started your PhD. But I'm sure before you get your masters, you may run into trouble, like into one or two things with the application, like the scholarship application, maybe with regards to your document or with regards to your credentials. So we would like to hear, was it smooth experience or there are some challenges that you faced during your application?
Actually, generally, scholarship application is very challenging. The process was never smooth and straightforward. There are a lot of challenges I faced. For example, I can remember clearly in 2020, I had tried applying for the Korean government scholarship for the second time because I applied in 2019. I couldn't get it, and then I reapplied in 2020. So when I was applying in 2020 for the Korean government scholarship, I went to court to certify my document and some things like that, and I sent the document. But on the day that I was expecting the university to call me for an interview, they unfortunately sent me a message that I need to notarize my document with the Korean embassy too, not only with the court. So that was a really challenging moment and challenging experience. So I have to go to Lagos to Korean embassy. I can remember at that time I was in Ogun State. So I traveled to yeah, I traveled to Lagos to authenticate my document with the Korean embassy. And unfortunately, they told me that I have to go back to Abuja, Ministry of Education, to authenticate my document first in Abuja and the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Then come back to the Korean embassy with dollars to authenticate my document. At that time, I don't think I have even seen dollar in my life at that time. So that was really a challenging experience. And at that time, after I came back from Lagos, the following morning, President Muhammadu Buhari imposed lockdown in Ogun State and Lagos, so I cannot even travel. I emailed to explain to them my situation, that first I cannot travel to Abuja, and even if I could travel to Abuja at that time, I am very much sure I cannot afford those, even traveling from Ogun State to Abuja, rent a hotel or get an apartment, pay for my authentication at the Ministry of Education, Foreign Affairs, go to Beirut, the change to exchange naira to dollar, and then go to the Korean embassy and pay them for that money. I don't think I can even afford that, even financially, mentally. It was so draining. So eventually, I sent them an email, and they didn't reply me until the very last day. When they replied me, they are so sorry to hear my situation, but they couldn't help. So they suggest I should apply next year. That is 2021. So that was really a challenging moment in my life, but I didn't give up. Of course, I reapplied the following year in 2021 for the third time, but fortunately enough, I got the Taiwan government scholarship. So, and I couldn't get the Korean government scholarship at the end, despite struggles for 3 times. So that was really challenging experience.
Hmm. Yeah. That was really challenging, and congratulations, at least you got it. And I'm sure this is mostly the challenges that people used to get, especially with regards to the accreditation of materials. But however, did you have any trouble with regards to the application material, like such as statement of purpose or cover letter? And then how many scholarship have you applied beside Korean government scholarship that you didn't get, and the Taiwan? Have you applied like to other scholarship and get rejected or something like that?
Of course, to the extent that even in fact, rejection has been part and parcel of me. I've been a part and parcel of my journey and my life. Of course, as a scholarship applicant and as a graduate student, I have to get used to rejection, obviously. So I applied to many scholarships. In fact, I used to tell everyone that it is not a joke. I'm serious. I have started applying scholarships, I think when I was in even 300 level. At that time, I didn't have the transcript and the certificate and everything to be qualified enough to apply for scholarships, but I was still applying as far back as when I was in 300 level. That was 2017. Then I applied 2018 when I was in 400 level, like Commonwealth scholarship, Commonwealth shared scholarships, a lot of scholarships, even US graduate schools, Canada graduate school, Erasmus Mundus. I applied to many, many scholarships. I think I applied more than maybe 60 or 70 times throughout that time. Get, of course, writing statement of purpose and writing cover letter, writing personal statement has also been kind of challenging because we have to keep improving on a daily basis. Even I can remember my vocabulary were not that robust enough to write a very good and compelling statement of purpose. And then, but then I have to overcome this by watching several YouTube tutorials and then of course guide from senior mentors like Buhari. He has helped a lot to correct my personal statement and statement of purpose, and even some friends from the United States, like the Smart, and even some friends from Europe, like Bakar Haruna. They have all helped in. So it's a
I
multi-strategy
see,
approach.
I see, I see. Okay, thank you very much, Brian, for sharing your experiences. As and I'm sure today we have an esteemed scholars and even professors who can shed more light on how to navigate this kind of challenges and then how to go through them and apply and get a successful scholarship. Thank you very much, Brian, for sharing. And we are going to move to our second speaker. Please, Mubarak Ibrahim, mute your mic. Thank you. So I'm going to move to our second speaker, who is Nuruddin Adu Muhammad. He's currently a PhD student in University of Mauritius. Before he did his masters in Jodhpur National University, India. So we are happy to have you here, Dr. Nuruddin. Are you here with us, Nura?
Yes, sir. Yes, I'm with you.
Oh, thank you very much. So, Nura, you've heard from Ibrahim some of the challenges that he went through during his application. First of all, I would like to know, have you experienced similar challenges, even though I know you are an experienced scholar, but you know, all of us once in a time we must come across this kind of challenges. Have you experienced some of them?
Okay, fine. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. Once again, my name is Nuruddin Ado Mohammed, and I'm happy to be with you. Thank you, Gamji Mentorship, for organizing such a wonderful and educational program like this. And first of all, I would like to thank the first speaker. Really, Ibrahim is a hero. I can call him a hero. The way he narrated all the struggle, all the challenges, the way he overcomes, it was very, very, encouraging. I can say from my side, really, you can't do without challenges. This is life. And pertaining the issue of scholarship applications, I could remember I applied like 2 scholarship to 3. The first one I applied to Saudi government scholarship. Unfortunately, I did not. I got we can say negative replies, which indicates that it wasn't successful. Secondly, I applied to Qatar scholarship also. It was rejected too. And I applied to, if I could remember, Korean, no, Hong Kong scholarship, and also that one failed. But fortunately, I applied to PTDF scholarship, that is Nigerian from Nigeria. It was my first application and was successful. I applied once. I attended the interviews after consulting friends, mentors, and the colleagues that have the experience and prepared well. So Alhamdulillah, it was successful, and I got it. And this is the one I am currently on. So in brief, I can say challenges are inevitable,
That's
but the most
true.
important thing is to keep going, keep trying, keep applying, keep updating, keep learning from the past mistakes, this and that. That is it. So, in a nutshell, I would like to encourage the prospective applicants that they should expect at all the time challenges, and they may be lucky to pass it smoothly without any challenge, and it is always good at the end.
That's true.
So once it is done, once it is successful, so the beautiful and exciting story will unveil seriously and truly. So thank you very much once again for having me, and nice to meet you all. I wish
And
all the best.
thank you very much, Dr. Nuruddin. We will see you in the second round. Uh, so that's it. Like they said, actually, application or scholarship application is never smooth. It's never easy. You have to, or you may encounter a lot of challenges uh, for the application. And some of these challenges, like I said before, it may be financial challenges. It may be due to credentials, that is, you don't have enough grades to apply, or it may be due to application materials, like your materials are not written well, or you can have multiple rejection and then you feel discouraged and you stop applying. So to help us digest these features and then to summarize and how can I say, understand what are the key features for successful application with regards to the application material, I would like to invite Dr. Muhammad Chutiami, who is not a, how can I say, he's not a guest on the Gamji Forum. Dr. Chutiami is currently a lecturer at the uh, University of uh, University in University of Technology Australia, and he has obtained his masters in the UK, and before that he was uh, uh, a lecturer at the University of in Yobe. So Dr. Chujami is an experienced scholar, a researcher, and a very successful, how can I say, individual. We are happy to have you here again, Dr. Chujami.
Thank you.
Uh, so,
Thank you so much.
Doctor, you already you have had what are the challenges, and I'm sure on this forum you have talked a lot on what are the requirements for a successful scholarship applications. Today also I would like you to highlight some of the key uh, point, especially with regards to application material, because you may see some of the students will write their maybe personal statement or cover letter, and sometimes they will send for a review. But when you read that their write-up, you'll feel like what is going on here? Like you'll start even having headache. You don't know how to start a review. If you ask them to sit down, for example, to see if they are there, so if they happen to be in the selection committee, can they really choose that write-up? To can they select that writer themselves? So what advice can you give to a successful application with regards to application material?
Okay. Hello everyone. I am Muhammad Shukiani, as Buhari said, and I'm from Yoga State originally. So I know a lot has been said, though I came a little bit late. But I think in a nutshell, mentorship is really, really important. And that does not mean it's not possible for you to do things on your own if you have done your homework very well. I remember the very first time I was applying for a scholarship, I did the whole process alone, like no consultation, nothing, nothing. And of course, it always comes with challenges, as was identified by others. Maybe just something unique to me was I remember sending an application, hard copy application to US, and then somebody from the post office just spend the money and dump the application. So, and I only realized this after the deadline has passed. So this is just by the way, but that does not deter me from going forward. So I still continue to do my own homework by going through online to check the detailed application requirement. Because one good thing with this international scholarship, especially in the English-speaking countries, UK, US, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, you can see that all the required information is online. I know sometimes we have this fear or we don't feel confident enough to review these things on our own. To be honest, nobody can help you like yourself. Even if you have a mentor, you have to get the initiative all the time. So this information is there online. It's meant for you to review and it's meant for you to be able to apply everything even on your own. Nevertheless, the fact that we're all here to support each other, there are a lot of mentors. It's okay for you to ask questions, to ask more detail about something. But even when you approach a mentor, always when you dig into it and get a lot of information on your own and then seek for clarification on that, even the mentor will find it easy to guide you. So please, what I want to say is, you are the greatest weapon for your success to a scholarship. So try to always spend time online. Is there, no restriction. Find the information. And then coming down to the issue of credentials, obviously, it does not matter how much time you spend on it. If you don't have the credentials, it's not going to work because it's highly competitive. Just take an example. Here in Australia, you can see that the entire African applicants, we are not up to people that come from India alone. Put all of Africa, including North Africa, South Africa, wherever. We are not up to the applicants in India alone. So you can see how competitive this is. And this is not just like in poor countries like ours. If you go to the Europe, is the next line in terms of number of people. So there are a lot of people who wants to move to another part of the world to study. So that tell you, yeah, the competition is there, but the chances are also there. Because one thing they do is that they consider each country different. So that is why do your homework, get the right credentials. The statement, as Buhari was saying, is really, really important. Write it to the best of your ability. Use Grammarly to check some of your grammars and then try to get a mentor, or not even a mentor, even somebody who you think has experience in terms of writing to review it for you. That is one thing. And then another thing that we always say for our friends applying for Masters by Research or PhD, please don't forget research. I emphasize this all of the time, but it's really important when you're applying, especially for a PhD. So, and please try to see that at least one or two of your research is in international index journals. If you don't know this, we can obviously help you to review into this. But in a nutshell, just make sure the journal is either indexed in Scopus or in the Web of Science. And that is key criteria. And then other things, I think they are more or less straightforward, because you can think about a reference letter, you can think about your credentials, all this you can get them easily. But things like we said, the statement and the and your research, this one you have to make them the best possible. So do your homework, seek for advice. This is it in a nutshell. Thank you.
That's wonderful. Thank you very much, Doctor, for this golden advice. Yeah. And I hope the student will adhere to the advice and try to implement them while looking for scholarship opportunities. Thank you very much, Doctor. See you in the next round. So our next speaker is a special guest, which we are honored to have him here in the person of Dr. Salihu Sabiu Musa. So Dr. Salihu Sabiu Musa is is our special guest today, and he received his PhD at the Department of Applied Mathematics of the Hong Kong Polytechnic University, and also he is a postdoctoral fellow at the Hong Kong Polytechnic University. He currently a mathematical epidemiologist at the University of Massachusetts, United States. And Dr. Musa is a lecturer at the Department of Mathematics, Kano University of Science and Technology within Kano. So thank you very much, Doctor. We are happy to have you here. Are you here with us, Doctor? Dr. Salu?
Dr. Salih, you are muted.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Oh yeah, we can hear
Yes.
you, Doctor.
Okay, sorry.
Doctor, we are happy to have you here. We are really honored that you grace our this an important occasion today.
And
thank you so
especially
much, Buhari.
considering the time difference.
Exactly.
Yeah, thank you so much, Buhari, and thank you so much, Dr. Chutiamin, and thank you everyone for attending. And as a presenter speaker said, my name is Salihu S. Musa, and I graduated from the Hong Kong Polytechnic University around some few years ago, and I was a postdoctoral fellow there, and currently a mathematical epidemiologist here in the United States. So actually, initially, I wanted to have like a slide to show some important information regarding application of PhD in general, and the other part also first after getting the PhD or master's or MPhil or whatever you call it. So maybe that one I will share later. So
Yes.
actually, it is important always to look at two sides whenever you are applying for a PhD or master's program abroad. First, try as much as you can to have your document prepared. I know a lot of talk like this has been given. You can check online, get some useful information. But the point I was trying to make here is the document. I mean, it's not about CB and SOP and some other related document. What I was trying to say nowadays, because it is all about competition. Professors outside our region generally, for example, if you are aiming to go abroad, they are specifically looking at your capability. So how do you show this? This is some of the point Muhammad Chutemin mentioned. You need to show your capability. For example, in academia, you have to have a good publication. Somebody may ask, at this level? Yes, at this level. Because I remember 2 years ago, I received a document from one of the professors in Hong Kong to assess, from a Nigerian, actually. So I didn't know the guy, but he's not Hausa. I think he's from Middle East. Niger, yeah. So he did extensively well. He received a lot of documents from a lot of applicants, but actually his own is exceptionally well. He had, if I could remember exactly, he had about 5 publications, and 2 among them, they are SCI based. So nowadays, I'm sure people have the information, a lot of information about all preparing all other documents, but when it comes to publication, I am sure we are behind. So this is very important in getting a scholarship abroad. So how many minutes I have, or is like
it's okay, thank you, Doctor. You already like share or talk about the most important, but I would like to maybe ask one question before we run up this session. Uh, some student may try to bring financial issue as hindrance in scholarship application. For example, some will say, okay, they don't have a passport, and some may even, because, for example, if you are applying, you have to print a lot of documents, or you have to go to the embassy to authenticate your document, the travel, and then the payment for the how can I say, authentication. Some people may, most of the times actually, some of the students may give that an excuse that that's why probably they cannot be able to apply to scholarship. But do you think that should be an excuse? If that should be an excuse, then how can someone try to beat this challenge?
Well, this is really important actually, because I have the personal experience,
Wow.
as everyone has.
Mm.
A PhD, or generally a postgraduate study in abroad, especially places like Hong Kong, because Hong Kong is one of the most expensive cities in
That's
the world.
very true.
So initially, when I contacted my professor, because when I came back from Near East University after my master's program, so that is when I joined Kano University of Science and Technology. So because actually my mindset is always about research. I always try to look at anything that is drawing me towards research. So when I come back, I didn't sit down at that time to say I will wait for, because I know a lot of our colleagues, friends in our Nigerian university system, most of them used to like say they should they wanted to wait for TED Fund sponsorship, which is very difficult considering the economic situation. So immediately when I came back, actually I applied for a PhD program in Bayer University, Kano, self-sponsored, because this has to do with my interest. So I started my PhD together with Professor Nafi Hussain, and we started working. And at that time, I published quite a few journals. So on the process, because I didn't sit down, so on the process, I was still applying abroad. So when I get the contact from Hong Kong, then we started communicating with my advisor. So at that time, we applied, we make all the preparations and send applications. We have hope, because we even started some of my projects, which was in my thesis, PhD thesis. We started them even before I joined him in Hong Kong. So
Wow.
because I remember I was working on Lhasa fever transmission in Nigeria specifically. So we write a quite good proposal and we submitted. But because of some other factors, because of the competitiveness of the Hong Kong scholarship, because at that time they are awarding only 200 slots globally. So imagine 200, and Hong Kong is a good spot actually. It's a very nice place to pursue a PhD because their system is designed to help PhD student, and generally general student, master's, PhD, and MPhil. So my application was not successful. But then, because my advisor, he was so interested in me, and we have been working together, so he keep pushing and keep encouraging me. So he told me, like, there are some ways. For example, if I can manage to go to Hong Kong, start as a self-sponsor, I know it's very difficult. You know, so I come from a very poor background, for example, but because of my interest, I never look at that side as a challenge for me. So I always look toward my goals. So I have some things. I had to sell my car.
Wow.
To make some arrangement get the ticket, moved to Hong Kong, and started my program. So during my first year, I get the scholarship.
Wow, wow,
So that is the beginning of the story. So a lot, and it happens that I was actually one of the best graduating students during my
studies.
program. So yeah.
Wow. That's excellent, Doctor. That's quite a story, and wow, thank you very much for sharing. And I think we have a lot of key message that we have to take from. Please, who is sharing? Oh my.
So I don't know at this point because Muhammad mentioned.
Who is Ishaq Ibrahim? Ishaq Ibrahim. Can you please stop sharing your screen? Where is Ishaq Ibrahim? Ishaq Ibrahim.
I think
So
Buhari could.
I think. Can you hear me,
Yeah.
Buhari?
Maybe
Yes,
he's
I
doing it
Can you hear me?
unintentionally.
Wait,
Okay.
yes,
Can
I
you
can
hear
hear
me?
you. I can hear you.
Yeah, sorry. I saw like the schedule. So I think if you think I can complete my remaining 5 minutes, so I have something I wanted to share, for example, because actually I realized because it's very difficult for me, but it's fine.
Yeah.
Uh,
But
my flight is just 1 hour,
oh
about 1 or 2 hour.
wow.
Right now I'm in Canada attending a workshop, so but
Okay.
I'm leaving. So I think it's fine. I can share. It's just 5 minutes slide. So then
Okay, so Doctor,
maybe
you may
if the
not be
time
able
didn't
to
permit,
end the event with us.
yeah, I may not end. Yeah, I
Okay,
may not
okay.
end. Yeah, but
Okay,
I have
then we would like to
to.
see your presentation. So I think we have 5 minutes before we move to the next
Okay.
next
So
discussion.
on the, I'm just wanted to share something about the first hour difficulties,
Okay.
which is like this is supposed to be like
Okay.
1 or 2 hours.
Okay. You are going to the presentation is about the challenges that someone can get after the
After I
oh
get the scholarship. Yeah.
perfect. So I
Yeah.
think what will happen is I will introduce the session and then we'll just directly enter into it and then you will make your presentation and then we'll move on.
Okay, sure.
Okay, so this is the end of the first session, which was it's about challenges that people used to have during application, and you hear from our esteemed scholars how the challenges that they faced during their application, and still they didn't give up. They keep pushing, and then finally they got it. So the message or the point that I want us everyone to take from their experience is, first of all, don't lose hope. For example, when you are applying, keep rejecting, then keep applying. Don't lose hope. That's the first thing that we should know. We should always be motivated. Don't let rejection discourage you. Always keep applying. And then improve your write-up. So it doesn't matter how many times that you applied. If your write-up is not good or your credentials or your application is not strong, definitely you will keep uh, getting rejected. So try to improve after each rejection, improve on it, and then apply again. And then I'm sure eventually you will get it. And then don't let financial also to be a how can I say a hindrance for you. Like you said, we all go through financial issues for the application, but try borrow money, get it from someone, pay it later. The opportunities that you will get after you get the scholarship, believe me, is priceless, is boundless. So this is the point from this discussion, and I'm happy to introduce the next topic, which I consider is the most important in this regard. And like I said earlier, mostly I've never seen people talking about this. Maybe, and most of the people, they don't really know that the problem exists. But this is a very crucial problem. It exists and it may change your entire life. It may change you forever, and you may never go back to your old self. And what is the problem? And the problem is the challenges that you may face after you get the scholarship. So I'm sure most of the students, they are just eager to apply for the scholarship. They don't really know what happened after you get the scholarship. What are you trying to put yourself in? So for you to understand that, our scholars here will really share their coaching or heartfelt experience with regards to things that you may have after you get the scholarship, and those may ranging from let's say academic problem, social problem, cultural problem. It may be religious problem. It may be mental health, and also it may be a physical health. So all this you may experience them after you get the scholarship, and how to navigate through them is that's what is important, and that's why we are here today to give you a heads up about what you may face after you get the scholarship and how you can navigate through them. Before I start the session, I would like to bring there is one proverb which says, "A wise man is the one who foresees a challenges and then take measures, but a foolish man is the one who goes blindly and then experience the consequences." So if you are really a wise man, you have to see what happened to your predecessors and then try to take measures so that it may help you in the future. So I would like you, Doctor, to introduce the session to try to show us what are the challenges that people may get after they got the scholarship during their postgraduate studies.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Doctor. Go ahead.
Okay. I wanted to share a slide.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Uh,
Okay, it's coming up.
okay. So how about the slide?
Yes, it's okay. I think you can.
Can you see it?
Yeah, we can see it, even though it's not in presentation mode, but I think maybe
Okay.
it's fine. Okay. Yes, it's okay now.
Okay, but I will be very brief.
Okay.
So generally, actually, sometimes it's not about the scholarship initially.
Mhm.
After getting the scholarship, so what else? What else? So a lot of people quit the program during their first 3 to 6 months, some even up to 2 years. So, but then why? This is a question before, as applicant, you're supposed to ask yourself all the time.
Yes.
So, because you will try as much as you can to take some measures that will lead you to that terrible situation, which we don't wish to happen. So, like I mentioned, actually there are some key points we have to look at before after getting the scholarship. I will talk about only one side, a lot of them, but I will specifically talk about one or two sides. So,
but okay, yes, now is moving. It's okay.
okay, so I will skip the first one. Okay, here. So, what is important actually? What is the most important from my experience, or for me personally, is the right direction, choosing the right direction. What are you going to study? Because a lot of people change direction after getting the fellowship. So this is very important actually, because these are some of the reasons why people are losing the way. So I will share it based on my experience. For example, even this is a question like, even when I was in undergraduate, people used to ask me a lot about that. Why do you study mathematics? Why mathematics? Why not engineering? Why not medicine? You know, why not computer science? So, but because actually, there was a story that happened because, like any other student, when I did a jam, I wanted to study medicine initially, or at worst engineering. So I did my best. I didn't get it. So then I go for the mathematics, though I like it a lot because I got a lot of awards, even when during my secondary school level. Cowbell, I cannot remember them all. Cowbell, National Mathematics Competition Olympiad. So I have the interest in mathematics actually, but my main interest is to study medicine or engineering. So, but then this is the alternative option I have. So a lot of people used to ask me this question, even at this level, even right now, people used to ask me, why mathematics? For example, the first time I was coming to the United States, the immigration officer was asking me, where are you going? I told him medical school. So he asked me, what is the link? What is the relationship between mathematics and medical school? I had to explain, you know, so I'm used to that. So this is what I'm trying to show. Interest is very important. Try to maintain your interest. Okay, I want to study interest on this direction. So take the challenge. You like it? Okay, take the challenge. Like every other field has its own challenge, so as also mathematics. So for me, for example, so why always study? Why study mathematics? Okay, mathematics is one of the, for me, greatest course somebody can study, because it has links with almost every course you are going to study. For example, right now I'm in the medical school. You see, a lot of people ask, why? What are you doing in medical school? So generally, okay, I wanted to be brief. Like, so generally, disease spreads out. We are always battling with disease outbreaks, epidemics, pandemics around us. So, which are the threats to globalization and public health? They are responsible for more than 22% of all the global death. There are a lot of epidemics and pandemics that occurred in history. You can check, for example, Black Plague, which kills up to 500 million people. Spanish flu, which kills 17 to 100 million individuals. And of recent, COVID-19, which everybody knows about, which started out of Wuhan, China, and spread very fast, rapidly. So actually, this is my interest in mathematics. Studying that is infectious disease epidemiology. Study infectious disease using some mathematical and statistical frameworks to analyze the dynamics of disease, make some prediction, assess some intervention strategies, make some recommendations to public health and policymakers on how to effectively control and prevent the disease outbreaks. A lot of my collaborators actually are not mathematicians, most of them, from
I see.
medical doctors, public health people, biologists. You see, that is why I'm always emphasizing about the importance of collaboration, because the era of people working in silos has already gone. Scientists generally have to come together, work together, and try to solve the world's most common problem. So this is what I do. I use my mathematical knowledge to study disease transmission and make some predictions and assess intervention strategies such as face mask, social distancing, vaccination, and so on. So, for example, this is what we have during the COVID period. This is what we have. We take the COVID cases from Africa and try to analyze them using mathematics. And
So-
this is what public health and policymakers needs. In every disease epidemics, pandemics, policymakers and public health people, they need us. They need us.
So,
because
Doctor, I didn't cut you.
Yeah.
If I understand understand you correctly, you're saying that the choosing the right direction is very important in your studies, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. That's something that you have interest in, so that
Yeah.
you may not end up wandering from one research area to another research area.
Yeah.
And based on what you say, I can give a very short example. I've known someone who initially was studying pharmacy, like PhD in pharmacy,
Okay.
but due to some challenges faced from lab members with the professors, that person got frustrated to the point that changed from pharmacy into something that related to sport. Like it's
see?
totally opposite.
You see?
So I understand like what you are trying to highlight, that
Yeah.
choosing the right topic can is very important.
So you can do that. You
someone
can do
before
that
you start.
generally, even at the start of the application, for example. Somebody like most people like are just applying anyhow. You have to know who are you working with, who are you going to work with. For example, choosing the right supervisor, try to look at someone who you share the same interest. Check his profile, try to see what is that person doing. Check his student. The success of his student determines your success.
That's very true.
If you check his student, there is no like good story about them, then there must be a question mark. So, but when you check the history of the student, you see, yeah, they are very successful. So that person must be a good supervisor.
That's very.
And the second part, try whatever you are doing, try to do it very well. Try to do it well. Try to do it well. I said this to most of my friends actually, because some people, for example, when it comes to publication, some people are just eager to publish anyhow in any journal, which may affect them in the future.
That's true.
You understand? So
Yeah.
it's not about having the publication. Yeah, I understand. It is very difficult at the PhD level during the program. Everybody is eager to get publication because you publish. That means you are going to graduate. Must around the world. So everybody like is eager. So, but at the same time, try to be very, 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 careful.
That's
Don't
very
publish
true.
your
That's
important work, your important research, your important data, your hard work, everything. Don't waste it anyhow.
That's very true.
So actually, as a result of doing some good work, scholars used to receive a lot of awards For example, okay, let me skip this. Okay.
I think maybe that you can just go to the last point.
Yeah.
Maybe
So,
especially due to your flight
yeah.
schedule.
Yeah. So this is what I have. For example, every year Elsevier try to compile the list of research published, open access. There are a lot of close, good journals, but see, what is this saying? Like,
a very wonderful
linked
achievement.
to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals.
Yes.
So you see the links the point I was trying to make in the beginning. So, for example, you have interest in this direction. Okay, do it well. And secondly, try to make some good collaboration, because you cannot go faster alone. You can go faster, but you may not get the good, the most important result.
That's very true.
So it's important. This is something that scholars or at PhD level or MPhil or master's level, people have to look at. Right now, okay, I will end. Right now, I am sorry. Right now, I'm the editor of this journal. This is one of the best journal, even in medical field, BMC. Muhammad Chutiamin, I'm sure you know this journal. So
Definitely.
Okay, doctor. I think I will have to cut you really short on time.
Yeah.
But that's a very wonderful achievement, and I can see if your initial choice, how your initial choice can landed you in a very successful career based on your experience and what you share with us.
So this what I wanted to say. This I'm currently an editor of this journal. You can find me here. Here, I'm also an editor here, and also an editor here. So there are some quite few of them. So this is the importance of doing things good. If you are not doing your work well, so
then you
nobody will care.
end up into troubles.
That's the point. Yeah, thank you so much.
Wow, thank you very much, Dr. Salu, for sharing your experience and your achievements. And I think the key point that we need to take from Dr. Salu's experience is try to be good in what you are doing and try to make your initial choice wisely. Otherwise, it may end up into getting you into trouble and you may lose your interest in studying. So thank you very much again, Doctor, and you can stop sharing the screen now. Okay, thank you very much for gracing our webinar. So I think due to the time, I will quickly move to our next speaker in the person of Dr. Snusi Marwana Malladan, who is
excuse me, please.
Assalamu alaikum.
Before Dr. Salu will leave, maybe there are some questions he need to answer from the question section because he's leaving. So
I think what will happen, actually we don't have time and we really need to go into the detail now. I think what will happen, they should leave the question at the end of the session. So at the end we'll entertain questions and answers before, because if you start now, Wa alaikum assalam.
Doctor, please, I have some question with Dr. Santos because I have some experience with Hong Kong something. And if he left, there is nobody will answer me. I applied for Hong Kong PhD fellowship more than 3 times. So he is the one person that he succeeded in getting this Hong Kong scholarship. So that is why I want to
please can you just quickly ask your question very fast, and then he can answer you. Then we can move to the next session.
Okay. Thank you very much, Doctor. My name is Musa Abdulkarim from Transport and Logistics Department, Nigerian Army University, BU. Doctor, this year under 23, I was able to attend 5 interviews of 6 in different countries around the world. I have one in MIS, Malaysia International Scholarships, Morocco in Eastern Mediterranean University, Norway in Oslo Metropolitan University, Australia in the University of Sydney, and then Hong Kong. For Hong Kong, I attended for 3 years. I'm flying for Hong Kong PhD scholarship, and one of the things that they are saying is that my the university where I graduated, though I graduated from ATV, I did my master in UTM, University of Technology, Malaysia. They don't criticize about my publications or something. They are always criticizing about the profile of the university that I graduated. That is very difficult to understand. Now I'm starting to look inward. What's the problem? Because
what is the university that you have graduated? Sorry.
I graduated. I did my first degree in ATBU, my second degree in University of Technology, Malaysia, ATBU Bochi.
Okay. So I think we understand the question. Let's see if you can answer the question. Thank you very much.
Like Norway and Australia, they told me that I know, and Hong Kong, I mean Hong Kong Polytechnic University, they told me that the university I did my master's is a low-ranking university. That is the video.
I understand the question.
We understand your question. So, Doctor, now you can answer the question.
Okay. Somebody is speaking.
Please,
please
mute themselves. Rabia, Ergaya, Sanusi. For the rest of the people that keep on sending messages, please just drop your messages. We can respond even later. Even in case of Dr. Saliu, we can respond later in our pages. Let's finish the session.
Yeah.
Okay.
Regarding the question,
please answer it very brief.
Yeah. Regarding the question Sunisa asked, this is like a very common question people used to ask, and this is very important because even at postdoctoral level, because a lot of my friends applied for postdoctoral fellowship in Hong Kong, but this is the message they are getting, like your university did not reach that level. One of the reasons why I mentioned like Hong Kong universities, they are one of the best actually because they try to maintain their status. They are very serious about the ranking, university ranking. For example, even though they have the same system, there are 8 universities under government-founded universities, but they all have the same system, and you can take a course in any of them while in one of the university. So actually, one of the reasons why people didn't get it through is because of their previous universities. So not only your publication sometimes matters, but that is the most important. So to address this, that is why I always keep encouraging people to make personal contact before application. Personal contact is very important because that is what I did. Had it been I followed the same process, I applied, I wouldn't have gotten that, you know. So, but because of personal contact, okay, if you keep pushing, you know, it's competitive. But personal contact, when you send to somebody, at the end you get someone who is interested and sees that, yeah, you are really doing a good job. So he will respond to you. Because sometimes there are about 4 categories of scholarship, and most of our people are applying for only one, which is the general fellowship. So there are 3 other more. There are university-based. There are sometimes even the advisor can give you a scholarship to come and do your PhD. So that is why personal contact is important. If you are applying to general fellowship, you didn't get it because of the competitiveness level. So through personal contact, the advisor can, if you are doing a good job, the advisor can contact you. And in the case where he has grants, so he can hire you
Can
to come and study.
offer you a fellowship. That's
So
true.
personal contact is a key, is a key message, is the most
Mhm.
important thing. Yeah.
So I think
Salaam alaikum.
that's
Salaam
that's
alaikum.
very.
Salaam
Uh,
alaikum. Doctor, concerning the
Walaikum
personal contact, I have another challenges. Like this year alone, I think I sent more than 300 emails to different professors around the world. And I think I only get reply in Sydney University. In Hong Kong Polytechnic University, because they are offering PhD transportation and logistic management. In fact, they didn't respond until they have a PhD workshop. I now raise the question that sometimes we used to send you an email that we want you to be our supervisor. This is our CV, this is our publications, and this is our interest in your PhD proposal. But we will not get reply. This is some of the major fundamental issues, especially this Chinese university. And in our area, a Chinese university, Hong Kong University of Science and Technology, and Hong Kong Polytechnic University. So sometimes you send email, you send inbox, you will not get reply.
The reason why they are not replying is because maybe they don't have funding. One, two, probably, yeah, not for generally. Sometimes they will look at the document. If there's some kind of problem in your document, for example, your area of interest, that's the direction, even your SOP and whatever. So from there, because you are selling yourself to someone, so your document matters a lot. And also, most of the reason why actually they are not replying is because they receive thousands of emails every day, you know. But if they have grant, if somebody has grant, which maybe he can hire 5 or 6 or 10 students, so he can start to assess. So by the time he comes to your document and sees that your document is well prepared, he can contact you, and then from there you can continue.
Thank you very much, Doctor. I think you have already answered the question, and this is what we can take so far based on this question. And thank you for asking the question. I hope Doctor have addressed the issues. And in case maybe you can reach out to Doctor through his email so that maybe he can offer some guidance considering the challenges that you are facing. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I need his email, sir. Contact, sir.
That should be probably later.
Okay. Thank you.
So our next speaker, we should not forget we are still on the second round with the topic the challenges that you may face after you get the scholarship award. And our next speaker is Dr. Sunusi Marwan Malladan, who did his bachelor from Bayero University, Kano, on mechanical engineering, and he did his master's from the University of Benin, and then he did his PhD from University of Malaysia, postdoc in Tianjin University, China, and currently a senior researcher at the Chongqing University, South Korea, and he's also a senior lecturer at the Mechanical Engineering Department, Bayero University, Kano. Thank you very much, Dr. Sunusi, for being here with us today. And
thank you.
Yes, Doctor. Thank you very much, Doctor, for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yes.
So you can all hear me clearly?
Yes, we can hear you and see you very clearly. So I think let's now go deep into the matter, which is, like I said before, is very, very important to understand what you are trying to put yourself in, so that you can take measures to avoid, so that you cannot go into this. Most of us, majority of us, we go into it blindly, and then we just experience it at first hand. So if, for example, to say there are some people who will guide us, who highlight us how to how can I say, the possible challenges that you may get, probably some of the choices that you made, you will not be able to make them. So please, Dr. Sunusi, I want you to help us understand what are the toxic, or what are the issues that someone can get, especially with regards to the student-supervisor relationship, as well as the financial problem.
Okay, thank you very much once again. And I really like the way you coined the cusp of discussion, like pre-award challenges and post-scholarship award challenges. Because as people try to search for scholarship without considering the consequences or the associated challenges that come with this scholarship. And some of these challenges are so serious after getting the scholarship that I have seen people who fall sick, I have seen people who quit the program, and I have seen people who become even so depressed.
That's
and some face very serious challenges. So we're not trying to discourage people from applying for scholarship, but as they search for this scholarship, it's equally important to know that there are serious challenges so that they can be able to find solutions. So before I talk about different types of challenges that people face after getting the scholarship award, I would like to address one point raised by Dr. Salu, which is a very important point. That is the issue of interest or research direction. Now, it's very important, like he said, for people to identify their research direction. But sometimes, even after identifying the research direction, there are certain challenges that come with that. In my own case, I did my master's in University of Benin, so I did my research in welding metallurgy. And as an academic staff, I identified that as my future research direction, and that is what I wanted to do my research in. So when I was looking for my PhD supervisor, I was looking for someone who is doing research in that particular field. And in the university I was targeting, I found only one professor that is doing research in that particular field. And I emailed that professor, he didn't reply. So I had to change to another professor, not because I want his research field, but because the professor I want didn't reply. So I got admitted and I started my program. I spent one full semester doing research in that field. But I really didn't, I was not really enjoying the research field because my interest is already in another direction. So I had to take a difficult decision of telling the professor that I have some issues with that particular field, and then I changed supervisor to my research field of interest. So that was my first challenge. So after changing to the field that I want, I also faced another major challenge. That is research equipment. So the new professor that I was working with was about to get a machine from Japan with which I have to do that particular research. So he now told me, okay, you can start writing review papers in that particular field until the machine arrives. So I spent almost 1 year trying to waiting for that machine to arrive. Thankfully, in that process, I continued to write review papers. So, but for almost 1 year, we didn't receive that particular machine. My point here is that even if you identify your research field, there are also unpredictable challenges. So we should know that challenges will always come along the way. And the good news is at the end of it, all these challenges turn out to be a blessing, depending on how we handle those challenges. So in my case, as I was waiting for that particular machine to arrive, I decided to write the review paper, and also I decided to look for opportunities outside Malaysia because that was in Malaysia. So I kept sending emails to professors across the world, and finally a professor in China accepted me, and I went there to do to continue my research. So I did all my experiment in China and then came back to Malaysia and finished my my PhD. So that's point number one.
At this point, sorry, doctor, to cut you, I would like to ask one specific question. During this time, have you ever experienced some kind of disagreement with your supervisor? For example, you want to go right and you want to go left based on the
No.
research method or research area?
No, actually, I will talk about for me, in my own case, I never had any issue with my professor. My point here is, as mentioned by Dr. Sali, we need to identify our research field. So having identified the research field, there can also be some unpredictable challenges. That's my point here. But I never had any issue with my professor. So now this is just a preview of. I just wanted to address the point raised by Dr. Sali.
Oh, now, okay,
I will come back to my main topic.
I understand. But so, doctor, then you have to rush it because of the time factor.
Okay. So generally, after getting scholarship, there are different types of challenges that we may face. Number one is the academic rigor, especially for those of us who have done our master's degree in Nigeria, and now we are doing a PhD as a scholarship student. So you can face two types of challenges. One in terms of the coursework structure, and one in terms of the research field. As you know, either a master's degree student or PhD student, you can have a mixture of both coursework and research, and each one has its own particular challenges. So the major challenge we face in terms of the research is, one, knowing what to do. That is identifying the research gap, which is one of the first challenges that we face. Some people can spend 6 months, 1 year trying to identify the research gap. So that is one key challenge. For some people, they may be lucky. They are working on a project which has clearly set objective, like most of the company projects people work on, they have already identified some problems that you want to be solved. So the research gap has already been addressed. So now the next challenge is how to do it. That is another challenge, what is called the imposter syndrome. Like in my own case, I did my master's degree in Nigeria, so I didn't have any, I have limited experience in terms of the use of some equipment in our lab. So this kind of situation is, you can see, is sometimes it's very embarrassing. You feel demotivated, you feel you are not qualified for the work, because these kind of things are supposed to be known even at undergraduate level or master's degree level. But because of your previous experience, you can find that you have no basic skills to operate some machines or to use some research tools. So that is also another challenge. That is lack of prior knowledge or experience on how to use some research equipment. That is the second challenge. Now, the most serious challenge which many people ignore is toxic professor. Yeah, you see, there are different types of advisors. Some advisors are very supportive. They will go out with you every step of the way, support you and help you. But there are also supervisors who don't really care about your personal development or about your professional development. Their main focus is the research objectives. Like currently in our lab, I don't want to give specific examples. We are facing these challenges. You can see some international students working on 3 or 4 projects, which is very demanding. So essentially, you turn out to be like more or less like a slave. You lose your freedom.
That's very true.
Yeah, there's no difference between Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, or Friday. It's all work. So this is not really common, but it's happening in most cases. And I have seen people who got depressed during this process. And sometimes the professors, they try to give you attention and support you, but based on your relationship between them, like it's the professor-student relationship, sometimes it's very, if not properly managed, it turns out to be a very, very disturbing situation. I have a case of a friend. We did PhD together. For one reason or the other, his professor got offended along the way. And then some professors will tell you immediately that they are not happy with that situation. But some will hold it against you and try to drag you down in your academic journey. I have seen a case where the student, at the point of submitting his thesis, then the professor tried to show that everything was wrong. Everything was wrong because of the relationship between the professor and the student was not properly managed. Then that student, it took the intervention of Association of Nigerian Students in that university and embassy in order to solve this problem. So another challenge is the supervisor.
Yes.
Your relationship between you and him, which is very, very important. So the point is when people try to look for professor or PhD scholarship, if there is a way to find out about that professor, please, people should try to do that before they actually join.
It's too late.
Yes, before it is too late, because it can be very, very, very difficult situation.
That's very true. So I think that I'm sorry, I may have to cut you because of the time, and we have other discussion to talk also, and really time is coming against us. But this is a very, very important issue that you raised, and that's I'm happy that you started this talk so that we can continue with the other discussion. And what, like, I have to repeat what Dr. said, we are not trying to scare anyone about keep applying. No, no, no. We are saying we should keep applying, but sometimes it's better to identify a problem, a potential problem, and know how to navigate through them. It's important than to just go blindly and then find yourself in a situation that it will affect you. Is mental health. There are a lot of cases of people who like lose their mental health, like they really like go, how can I say, they lose their mental health. They have to go on a special care in hospital or something like that. So it's very important to identify, and that's why we are here, to try to highlight you some of the problems that you may have, and then we'll give advice on how to try to pinpoint some of the problems are avoidable while some of they are inevitable. But still, if you know them, then you can, it will not be a shock to you, and then maybe you will try to devise some kind of method how you avoid them. Thank you very much, Dr. Sunusi Marwan, for sharing this very important insight on this. So I will quickly move to our next speaker in the person of Halimat Isa Al Hassan. I think the only lady among the guests today. So Halima, she did her bachelor degree in international relations from Seoul National University, South Korea, and she's currently she works at the GME Remittance, and she's the Africa representative in the company. Halima, happy to have you here. Can you hear us?
Yes. Assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you clearly, Ambassador. Glad to have you here.
Yes. Hello,
Yes.
everybody. Assalamu
Sorry
alaikum,
to hold
everybody.
you in your office. But,
No, it's fine.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yes,
I think I will just quickly ask you a question with regards to the issue that we are discussing. You know, sometimes like what Dr. Snusha raised, some of the problem may be into academics, like problem with the supervisor and the student, that kind of issue. But some problem, maybe social problem, or sometimes even cultural. So can you share more light on this based on your experience? How did you experience any culture shock or social problem that may try to interfere with your studies?
Yes, so thank you everybody for staying here with us. And for me, I mean, I'm in South Korea, so up until now, I just remained even after my studies. For me, I was able to study Korean language, which I think I want to hammer on a little bit on this conversation because I think it translates into a lot of things, especially when people want to study maybe higher levels, like maybe PhD or masters, right? Most of the time, you don't need to learn the language. That's what they'll tell you, especially if you're not going to US or UK. And I find that nowadays people try to check for other options. Like you can see here, we've had Hong Kong, we've had China. So people are going to other places, right? And not just US, UK, or maybe Canada or Australia, which means that you're leaving English territory. It's something completely different, right? Yeah, so once you go in, it's like, yeah, you can speak English. That could be what everybody's selling right now. It's like it doesn't matter. But if you do not understand maybe the foundation, like the basic language, it's going to translate into you not even understanding cultural context. Like the way you relate with your professor, right? Like the way you talk to people, you'll be wondering, like, you said this, why is this person reacting this way? And it will literally just like cause confusion in your whole like this thing
Very
relationship with people, right? So me, I was opportune to first of all learn Korean language for a year. So I had the opportunity to learn culture, to understand, okay, why do people do this, or why do they say this at this time? Why don't they respond when you speak like this? And why do they not come directly to speak to you? You know, somebody might be telling you, oh, you're doing well. But you can try. So you take the first one instead of the second one. Maybe what they're trying to tell you is you're not really doing well, but they might tell you you're doing well, but you do not know that. So those kind of things are
That's
confusing. So you need to understand those kind of context. So I wanted to bring that because I mean it's very important. I perceive, right? And even though someone says you don't need to learn language, they might tell you in some schools that you do not need to. I think if you get the opportunity to study, you should enroll yourself, even if it's in a Coursera course or something, for fundamental, like foundational level courses, like to learn. And if you're looking for, I think, like to go to a country and you're not easily getting it, I think there are like EU countries now that you can just do direct application. And then as long as you can spend 1 year to learn their language and their culture, then they can you can actually like go to study. There are places where you can get like free tuition, like other things you can work for them. So you need to be open to also like just like applying for scholarship that will not be tagged scholarship directly. As long as you're open to learning their language, they are really open to that. So I think I wanted to like highlight that. For me, it was not that difficult. The food was the food aspect and everything, because I know that there are some people that have so much problem that they had to quit. Like some people that we came together, they had to quit because they couldn't meet up to the requirements, like the cultural requirements, basically. So those things are usually important. And once you get into it, I think studying, because I think most people that get scholarship already have the IQ. They already have the basic, the foundational like brain. But if you're unable to like get into the culture and just be open-minded, then it might just be so hard for you to really like get what you want to get, at the end of the day. So I just wanted to say just be open-minded to it and actually learn their culture and their language most of the time, and try to apply outside of the English speaking places. I'm getting feedback. So yes. For that's just what I have to say, except if Buhari has any question he wants to, ask for me to be
no.
specific
This
on.
is excellent. Actually, you have how can I say, you have addressed all the issues that may raise that someone may get from cultural and social perspective, and the advice you give is wonderful. Actually, thank you very much. And I think all of us, we can relate to this kind of, especially with the language barrier. Even if you are not, for example, even if, for example, you are not required to study the language, I think it's really beneficial for you to go ahead and study the language for yourself. Otherwise, it will really be difficult for you. You may be a very intelligent person, but you may end up being like, how can I say, uh, how can I say, a foolish person, because you cannot understand the language, and then people will not understand you also. Then you just be wondering in the country, doesn't know what is happening. Thank you very much, Halima, for sharing this very insightful, how can I say, experience, and highlight on the potential solution to the problem. So quickly, I will move to our next speaker, who is Dr. Nuruddin. I think I've already introduced you. I will quickly go with you because still we are on the social, so you can, Nuruddin, Dr. Nuruddin Ado Muhammad. Okay, I think maybe Nura is not with us now. Then I will.
Please, worry, skip me for a while. I will come back.
Oh, okay, okay, no problem. So I will move to our next speaker, who is Dr. Mubarak Muhammad. Dr. Mubarak, are you here?
Okay, Doctor.
Oh, okay. Thank you for joining us. Okay, Dr. Mubarak studied his MSc in Human Physiology, and then he is currently a PhD candidate of Neuroscience program at the Konkan University, Thailand. Thank you very much for joining us today, Doctor.
Thank you, Bahar.
We will continue on the issue of challenges after you get the scholarship. You are already a PhD candidate, so you have seen it all. So you have already gone through all the things. So what the question that I will ask is, first of all, did you prepare yourself for the challenges that you may face during your studies, or you just go like that? And then what are some of the challenges that you experience?
Okay, thank you, Bahari, for the.
Before Dr. Mubarak will proceed, Bahari, excuse me. I saw someone ask a question. Could someone who studied MBBS proceed? So I think Buhari forgot to mention that Dr. Mubarak is also a doctor of physiotherapy. So Dr. Mubarak, you can include this kind of explanation so that we can skip this kind of question, being you in a right position.
Okay, thank you all. I would like to say that the life outside Nigeria or outside life in Oibola is not a one that is full of roses. It has its own challenges. First of all, academically, you should prepare your mind to work around the clock, and including weekends. For me personally, it was when I was in Thailand, I realized the so-called praise by our former president, the lazy Nigerian youth, has some element of truth in it. There is nothing like in Thailand, there is nothing like bachung asaba or, late sleeping during early morning. People have to wake up to prepare for work as early as 5 a.m. and they will remain at the place of work till late evening. So you need to really prepare yourself and you need to prepare your mind to work. And you should know that Oibo people doesn't like lackadaisical people. So secondly, socioculturally, I would like to advise that if you have time, try to learn, like some of the previous speakers have said, try to learn some basic words needed for survival in the country, especially if the country is not English-speaking country. So when you reach the school, some of the school organize language and culture classes. So try to attend such classes, even if it's not compulsory. This is because there are some certain things that might seem nothing to you, but it's unforgivable crime in other people's culture. For instance, in Thailand, it is big crime to disrespect their Thai food. So in the presence of Thai people, so even if you don't like Thai food, you don't, for example, throw it away in their presence, because if you do that, you're gonna find yourself in trouble with them. Then, secondly, it is inappropriate to point this with index finger in Thailand, and you don't try to do that. It's normally common in so many cultures, more especially in our African background. But in Thailand, it's not just appropriate for someone to do that. So you need to really enroll yourself into language and culture classes, especially if the school that you are attending is not English speaking country. And another thing is, in Thailand, any slight joke to your teacher, they call them ajans. So any slight, joke to teachers is unacceptable in Thailand. So if you are in Thailand, don't try to do it, even in the absence of the teachers or your advisors. And thirdly, financially, I would like to advise that you try to get in touch with someone who is in that country. Sometimes the scholarship stipend that is being offered to you might not be enough to cover your cost of accommodation and your daily bread, and you are expected to supplement by yourself. So you should try to ask sincere advice from someone living in that country about the average monthly expenditure and compare it with what is being offered to you in your scholarship, so that you prepare yourself and your mind for any eventuality that might arise. And thirdly, for your health, you should understand that in Oyibo land, you have to live under what they call health insurance, whether you are healthy or sick. So for example, in my university, you will need to get visa. If you want to get visa extension later, you can't get it from the university without health insurance. So you have to try to find out whether your scholarship cover health insurance. If it doesn't, try to contact the academic affairs division of your country so that you learn about the cost of health insurance in that particular country you are moving to. Then for your mental health, I always try to advise, try not to live in isolation. Try to identify a certain commodity within your school that you can identify yourself with. This might be your lab members or African community in your school or in your city, or your fellow religion community, or sometimes it might be even your favorite sport community. Maybe if you like football, identify with those that do fancy football and try to socialize with them so that you avoid isolation. And then religious perspective, I'll always try to advise people, don't express extreme religious views in public if you are in Oyibo land. For example, don't hold strong opinion against people. Maybe you might find people drinking beer or doing fornication or doing gambling. Don't always, try to express strong opposition against that. Just try to respect everyone's way of life, because you might not understand. To them, it's just a normal way of doing life. So you should try to respect their way of doing life, and by doing that, you're never gonna find yourself in trouble. I think this is just some tips of the iceberg because of time constraint.
Wow, thank you very much. You have really raised very important issues, and gladly you have already addressed all the issues, how to avoid them. And I'll just try to emphasize on the financial aspect. You see, sometimes even the scholarship, for example, they have specific time limit for scholarship they will fund. For example, they can fund you only for 3 years scholarship, but you may end up not finishing your studies in that 3 years or 4 years. So how to survive after that 1 year is a very serious issue. So you should always consider that, okay, this scholarship is going to fund me for 3 years. Am I going to finish that in 3 years? If I didn't, what is the alternative? So you should really try to be that, because a lot of people already they are in trouble. The people that I personally know, they are in serious financial trouble, even though they are in the country that is not theirs. So always try to see this from the financial perspective. And again, there is one important issue that Dr. Bar addressed, which is you always compare the cost of living of the country that you are going and then your country. Don't just convert the currency into naira and see the money is huge and then think, okay, yeah, this is a lot of money, and then no. Always try to compare the cost of living in the country. You may end up having, even though you are having much money there, maybe half of the money it will be sufficient for you in your country, but in the some country that money will be enough for you, and then you will end up in a financial trouble. So always try to see how you can avoid this kind of issue. Thank you very much, Dr. Mubarak, and I will quickly go to our next speaker. Ibrahim Haruna, you are here. I would like you to quickly just do it maybe within 1 to 2 minutes so that we can move. Time is not in our side. Ibrahim Haruna.
Yeah, thank you very much once again for coming back again.
Actually, so, first, what I want to know is, as a recent, for example, you recently started your PhD. So I would just like you to maybe, based on the things that we have discussed here, try to specifically highlight some of the issues that you personally like experience them, so that people will relate with them.
Okay, I understand. Thank you very much. So one of the challenges I faced during my master's program was kind of greatly due to language barrier. Language barrier is a very serious issue, because if other people cannot understand you, because my scholarship does not necessarily mandate me to learn the Chinese language, so I didn't pay much attention to learn. But eventually I realized that I am greatly disconnected from everyone, especially during my early days in Taiwan. So that disconnection has thrown me into a very serious kind of depression. I have to be under treatment for like 6 or 7 months under antidepressant. Yeah, that's kind of a very serious issue, because I cannot talk to anyone. Only lab members, to be honest, in most cases, your lab members are not your friends. They are just like lab colleagues. That's the truth. So I'm kind of disconnected from everyone. Only my room and my bed. Every day, my room, my bed. That's same cycle, and kind of challenges you are facing in your research that has thrown me into kind of depression. So I advise everyone. It's very important. Even if your scholarship says you don't have to learn the language, learn that language. It's really important. And then even if it doesn't happen to me, there are other people that I have seen that experience a very toxic and unfriendly supervisors. So it is usually very important to double check. Like one of the simple ways as a foreigner, or even if you have not landed in that country, you can try googling the lab website. If the supervisor has some lab website, and you can see the lab members, and one of the easiest way you can contact other lab members diplomatically using politics. You don't have to go straight to the point. Like you cannot ask him, is your supervisor toxic or not? You cannot ask those kind of questions. You have to be very careful. Yeah, you have to be really careful. So yeah, you can go in diplomatic way and politically to ask them what is the culture of the lab. I guarantee you, most of lab members would be happy to tell you whether their lab is toxic or not.
Very true.
We will be happy to tell you what we are going and which kind of bosses we are dealing with. So this is very important thing to double check with the lab members. And also, even the kind of scholarship itself, some universities can deceive you. Like I know a lot of people that came to our university on a 1-year scholarship with the hope that they can extend it to their second year as a master student. But eventually they couldn't, because getting those kind of scholarship to extend your master scholarship to second year is really difficult. And maybe the stipend that your supervisor is giving you may not be enough to pay your tuition fee for the second year, which has thrown them into very serious problems. I've seen a lot of students, not only here, in different places around the world, have faced those kind of challenges, financial challenges. So it is really important to ask some current student in that university how it works and how you pay your tuition fee in case you need to pay the tuition fee and all those kind of problems. And then lastly, what I want to conclude with is that we are not trying to discourage you. Actually, there are very, very, very good supervisors. They are very supportive supervisors. They are very friendly supervisors everywhere. So we are not trying to discourage you from applying for scholarships. Apply as much as you can, but also do the background check. So in as much as we say that there are a lot of supervisors that are not good, there are actually a lot of good and supportive and friendly supervisors we are interacting with, a lot of them. So the important thing is to do your background check on everything and don't hesitate to ask questions. Ask as much as you can until you are fully satisfied with the information. That is really important.
Yes, thank you very much for sharing this, Ibrahim. And yes, it's very important with the question that the point that he raised about isolation. That is a very, you see, sometimes you may not even have any problem. For example, you don't have a financial problem, you don't have any problem with your supervisor, and you don't have any problem with your research. But the isolation, because you are alone, you don't have any people around, you may end up maybe spending, if maybe like seriously like 1 week without talking to anyone, believe me.
Exactly, even more than a week.
Just no one will talk to you, and you will not talk to anyone unless maybe you have to call back home and then talk with people. Otherwise, the country will not. Then in that kind of things, you may really develop a lot of mental health problem that you don't even know you have some underlying mental issue until you find yourself in that kind of situation. So it's very important to, even before you go to the country, try to search some your countrymen in that country, try to socialize with them, make group with them so that you can avoid this kind of issue. Thank you very much, Ibrahim.
Yeah, you are welcome. You are welcome.
I think I will go to the second to the last speaker, which is Dr. Chutiami. Then after him, we will go to our special guest in person of Professor Bashir Bello. But before then, Dr. Chutiami.
Okay. Hello, everyone, once again. And I think a lot has been said, obviously. I just want to add something little with respect to one, the issue of loneliness, and then two, the issue of supervisors. Just a different perspective to it. So talking about loneliness is true, especially if you go for PhD in countries like Australia, UK, New Zealand, you don't attend classes. So from day one, you're on your own all the way through, which means loneliness is definitely there. To cut things short, what can you do? For me, the very first day that I jumped in Australia, I didn't know anybody. The first thing I checked was, where can I find a mosque near me? So, and then on that very day, I just dropped my bag, 2 hours, I walked to the mosque, and that is the very first community that I make. So if you're a Muslim, this can be a way, and if you are a Christian, there are many churches, and you can see a lot of blacks there. You can connect there. And then another thing is that all the universities that you are going to attend, there are student groups. So it can be a writing group, can be social group, whatsoever group. For example, in mine, we call them mentors, student mentors. So I just begin to search and then connect myself with these groups within the first 2 months of my candidature. And that is how I was able to overcome the issue of loneliness. So going on the other side of the coin, which is about the issue of supervisors, I can understand that in a lot of countries, supervisors have this power that they can delay students in many ways. So I want to tell you that in many countries, this is not the case. Countries like Australia, UK, and New Zealand, because I have experience in these countries, a supervisor cannot fail you just like that. In fact, if they fail you, they are at risk of even losing their job. That is one thing I respect with these people. The only situation whereby you can get a problem with a supervisor is if you have not done your homework. And I will give you, this is a practical example. The week that I reported at my university, I found one student from Norway. and she is from the same supervisor as myself. For the whole week, that lady, I never saw her smiling, not even once. So a lot of people, the first thing that they tell me, oh my God, this student is with your supervisor. She has been here for 2.5 years. To cut things short, she had to withdraw from the PhD after 2.5 years.
Okay.
So you see, listening to them, it will make me feel like I'm going to experience the same thing, but it's completely different. What happened? The problem is that the student never accept challenges. You are there as a student. You don't know many things. You are there to know. So what the supervisors know is if they tell you something and you think your point of view is right, you have to convince them with evidence. And that is all that the supervisor wants. You see, that student finished 2.5 years, didn't do the PhD, end up leaving, but I finished my PhD in about 2.5 years. And not only that, the same supervisor helped me find a job even before my PhD was out. So, and that is what I experienced with the supervisor. If they tell you this, they think this is right, just take your time, articulate your points, get your evidence, and just prove them that this is not the case. And they are always open, especially in these countries that I mentioned. So don't just argue, because it's a natural reaction when somebody tell you, oh, this doesn't look right. It's your natural instinct to try to counteract that person. So what I did when I realized that was I always take my time. If I send something to my supervisor and she give me a different view, I don't answer her immediately. Take 2 days, reflect on it, and 90% of the time she is even right. It's just that I didn't digest it. And the 10% that she's not right, if I present my evidence, she will happily accept it. And that is how I finished my PhD in 2.5 years. So please don't be discouraged. Do your homework, do your best, and anywhere you go, you can survive it. I think for time, this is a few things that I will share.
Oh, thank you very much. Like, I'm really enjoying this discussion, because any speaker, you will hear some very different perspective and very useful insight. And from Dr. Chichami's talk, we can understand it's not always, for example, especially in terms of supervisor-student relationship, it's not always the supervisor that is the problem. So sometimes we can be the problem also. So we need to adjust to understand the perspective of the professor, try a diplomatic how to relate with them. And even me, seriously, I have known some people who go through this, who experience, and I advise them so many times. I told them directly, yeah, you are the problem, not your supervisor, because I've already known that person. Like, they're always, how can I say, arrogant or something like that. That's their personality. So if you have that kind of personality, you really need to adjust so that you will not always be clashing with your supervisor. Thank you very much, Dr. Chichani, for this insight. So I think with this, we'll just go to our last speaker and our special guest that we are really honored to have him here in person of Professor Bashir Bello. So Professor Bashir Bello is a highly skilled professional with over 20 years experience in musculoskeletal physiotherapy. He's a professor and specialist in managing low back pain and has a proven track record of publishing high quality articles. He had his first degree from Bayero University, Kano, and he completed his PhD from the University of 2016. Professor Bello joined the Northwest University, South Africa as a postdoctoral fellow, and then he's presently awarded fellowship of an extraordinary professor with the Lifestyle Diseases Research Entity of the Northwest University, South Africa. We are really honored to have you in our midst today, Professor.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everybody. It's afternoon from where I'm speaking presently. I'm sure you can see my turban.
Yes, I know.
I'm doing at Umrah, so I got lost with the timing.
Yes.
So, you know, the jet lag from Nigeria, I went to Leicester City, came back to Saudi Arabia. So everything is, I'm confused, sincerely. I didn't know that the program will be going on like that.
Yes,
So
yes, but we are really glad to have you here. And before that, since you are there, try to pray for us, everyone here, so that
inshallah,
all scholarship seekers, once they
yes,
apply, let
they should
their
get it.
prayer accepted so that they will just uh, got it directly. And people that are experiencing all these kind of challenges in their studies, may
Yes,
God help them so that they may never go through them.
inshallah.
Actually,
So yes,
all the attendees, they are very lucky to have this moment.
Yes, so that we have someone to convey our prayers.
Exactly.
okay, mashallah. Well,
So thank
I
you,
think
Professor, for joining us. And what I would like you already like maybe
listening to
hear
the
some of the
conversation, of course.
conversation and everything. So I think maybe we'll just give you the strength so that you will just try to summarize everything and
Yeah,
give us very how can I say
a
hardenly
recommendation
and
on the
fully
way through.
advice all of us so that we can try to manage all the difficulties.
Inshallah.
Mm.
Well, I thank you so much, the anchor, Dr. Buhari. It's quite an interesting moment. I think that's the little thing we can do to contribute to our society or give back, to
That's
those who have put us also through. I think it's a very wonderful initiative, and I want to appreciate all of you for bringing up these things together. Now, to contribute, I'm coming from two sides. Number one, I'm coming in a perspective of a studentship, of
mm.
course, and of course as also a supervisor because I've listened to both sides.
Mhm.
You know, I have about
That's
presently about 7 PhD students are under me, and of course I've also gone through the PhD program over time.
then
So
you are
let's
in
look at
very
it.
unique position then.
Yes. So we'll be looking at it from these two sides. Now, in the first place, um, I think I will start by discussing the social and cultural context when you live outside Nigeria. Someone like me, my friends in the UK, they kept saying, "Where me Sabata Kaba?"
Mm.
I said, because the
Mm.
trouble I had my first day in Coventry University was I couldn't navigate a mosque. So when I got to the advisor we're supposed to work together, he told me, "Oh, well, you could just have a prayer room, and on the prayer room you use that after work and all that." For somebody who is an arama every day at works 247, and the first 1 week I was at Coventry University, I had prayed alone throughout. So
Wow.
that gave me some emotional trauma, and I started questioning myself: Is it worth it? Should I be here?
Mm.
You know,
Mm.
well, I said it's a journey for knowledge and then all that. I tried convincing myself until I was able to get a friend, and then we kept praying together. That gave me the moral support, you know. Unfortunately, the guy is a Pakistani, they had to travel. And then I was brought back to the same situation.
Oh boy.
So my concern is not who to relate with or how to do, because in that university, really, if I want to play along, everybody wants me because there was something they're doing and I was pivotal to the work and I had to be there.
Mm.
So everybody wants my attention, everybody wants you to be there, but I have a problem on my own because they can't understand when I say I will use a lava,
Mm.
you know, and
Mm.
in the clinic or where we were doing the job, there was no anything like a prayer room because this is a culture. You got into some people, you can't say they have to come back to what you're doing. It's you that will have to navigate your way. How do you do that? So what I tried to do was to now begin to scout among all the African guys, those Pakistani. Then what we will do is to walk back to our room because I live in the campus. So I now had another person that said, "Oh, because there's no place to pray, so that's why we don't pray. When we get back home, we pray." I now had to ask them, "Okay, we'll keep going to my room, say Salah, and then we come back."
Mm.
Now they had another problem that, there's this situation in the UK where you just go to your office, you don't use your phone anymore. until after work. So how do I reach to them? Because I have the privilege still. I can, okay, I want my break time. You know, you could take your break. It's a flexible break. It's not a fixed time. So I could use my own break time. But those guys, they can't, because in fact, they are even undergrad. So it was a huge problem. But we were able to navigate that because there was this what we call a common goal. The young men I met also felt they needed this prayer, because that's the first thing that gives us that socialization. Wallahi, if you miss socialization, the mental trouble you're going to go through is not the studies that will fail you, it is that emotional trouble that will fail you.
No, it's enormous. Seriously.
You see, back home in Nigeria, we have never known there is any emotional problem. I can tell you categorically from hospital. In fact, when they say you have an emotional problem, how can anyone? Nobody takes it serious.
Professor, I have never known the meaning of stress till I started paying. I know the word stress, but I don't literally know what it means. Unless when I started doing my study, then I know the real meaning of stress.
So those are the issues. You know, now if it comes to weekend that we're not going out, so I may have to just be like that throughout. Except if I want to play along my colleagues. There's we have a club, you know. But how do you lose your sense of identity because you are in a no man's land? So there's this clash. You have to fight. There's a discipline you have to give to yourself. And it is doable because we have done it and then we've been able to cross over it. If you want to play along in the UK, you have friends that want to take you out every now and then. But do we want to come back home and the Boko becomes haram? Because that will tell you that's the Boko Haram, because you have gone and become the bad boy. You know? So there is this ambassador you have to also protect of your deen and of course of the person whom you are. The essence of the knowledge is that when you get back home, we should see you in terms of your character, the behavior, and your learning and improved. So not see you retarded with dread and you know, you feel you are just above the law. I think we have lost that. So what I'm trying to say is mental health issues, emotional problems are real. And the best way to deal with it is like what Chutiami said, identify the social group you have. And for us as Muslims, the first social group you may need, and that will be very, very tantamount to your health, is how do you get the mosque? If you can be praying congregational prayer, I can assure you, you will never have any emotional problem. So please, this is my advice on that in terms of that. Now, the second thing, as a student, when you have to deal with your supervisor, it's just the same relationship between you as a slave and God as the God, the king. If you don't see yourself as the slave and God as the God, the king, then you're going to have a problem. But the moment you put yourself in the position that you are the slave and he is the king, then you will see that the supervisor will have to be pulling you. This guy, you're too calm. This guy, I don't like, you know, he will pull you, he will want you to talk. But if you're always coming from that feminist group that we always are, we know our rights, a male is the same like a female, the supervisor is the same like that. No. We all know this problem. I believe as Nigerians, we grew up, well, you know that your lecturers in class, it can either make you or mar you, you know? So we don't always come with that mentality of saying, I know my rights. And no, he's your supervisor. If he says he doesn't want it this way, you must try in a convincing way to let him see it. Because I believe in terms of research, it is all about your argument, the strength of your argument. Your supervisor said, no, I don't want it to be done this way. So how much can you give an argument that the way you're thinking is the best way? If whatever argument you have put through, the supervisor is still not accepting, then you have to bring down yourself and go try to see how you will have to try to understand what he wants. Because this is the same thing you do when you submit your paper to a reviewer. If you're not very careful, a reviewer will force you to change the objective of your study to what he wants. Because you wrote the paper, you've done your work, and you sent it. They will change the whole paper until it gets from a goat to become a chicken. The paper will change shape from a goat to a chicken. And if you don't take it the way they want, then they will reject the paper. So sometimes you must have to learn how to, navigate these things with a bit of wisdom. You have to play with wisdom, humility, and of course, some discipline. So please, those things are very important. And Dr. Sunusi, I think I picked something very interesting when he mentioned he felt let down. When he transited from Nigeria to Malaysia or China in terms of laboratory skills. He said he felt demoralized and demotivated. But to me, I feel, you see, we are Nigerians. We know what we're suffering. We know our problems. In terms of your paper or the justification that the advisor or the supervisor have used to choose you, he knows you have the capacity, the capability to do that thing. Now you found yourself in the lab. It's just like finding yourself in a new, maybe an Escalade car 2024. You don't even know where to ignite the car. It doesn't mean because you don't know how to drive a car. But the simple thing you need to do is just look for the laboratory technician, look for some of the junior staff. Please, can you take me through? Because there's supposed to be what we call orientation. You need to be oriented into the lab. Except if you have claimed the ability to use that machine before and you have now come, you can't use it. That's when it's to be a problem on you. So please, I think we should not get worried with situations like this. Now, the last point I will bring up for us is myself as a supervisor. Now, human beings, both the supervisor and the supervisee are all human beings.
That's true.
We must understand that our character is what makes us. Some people, sincerely, I have had PhD students who were once my lecturers.
Wow.
I don't know if you understand that.
Yeah, clearly.
Now, someone who is a director at that time, who taught me at undergraduate,
now it's just
and now it's picking up a course under me. So now, because it's my PhD candidate, doesn't mean I'm also going to treat him like a student, like a young chap or somebody who is under me. I wouldn't do that. I will treat him with some discipline and respect, which I will also appreciate him to reciprocate. And that's what he does. He will never call me by name. He will never look for me until when he has, arranged a meeting. So there should be that mutual respect. So also you have found sometimes some people are mentally unstable, but they themselves don't know they are not stable. Like for instance,
that's very true.
He doesn't know. A candidate, I'm supervising a candidate at a different university in South Africa, KwaZulu-Natal. That candidate had stayed in University of Pretoria for 2.5 years. His major problem is that he has a supervisor, she's a female, and they want them at the ethics when they were trying to submit their work for ethical clearance. The ethics board committee is asking them, go and justify why do you want to do just a prevalence study before going to the main work. You see, they gave you a scientific question, go and justify something. Now the supervisor will come back and say, the whole of that board, they don't like me. They don't like black people. Black. They will shout on these. Now that student got frustrated and he didn't know that he has broken down because the supervisor did not understand what is going on. Now, somehow, some way, somebody told him that there's this professor somewhere Now he got to reach out to me, and I said, okay, what do you want to do? This is what we want to do. Now, in 2 weeks, I was able to sort out that problem. He said this is the first time he realized that he thought he had, is just very irritating to himself. He thought he had anger issues. That anytime his wife called him, it becomes a fight. So he never knew that it because he was not seeing a light in what he was doing that had given him all the confusion in his life. So until the supervisors are also facing issues. In my own department or the entity I'm working presently, the main director got a WHO fund, which is supposed to deliver in 2 years. And it's an implementation study. Now, the PhD student he picked under that is also working in somewhere who was not really interested in this work. Now, supervisor is getting irritated. And the student is also feeling that, oh, guy, you are disturbing me. What is all this? You know? So there was no that, they could not correlate their goals together. And that gave a huge friction between those two people. Until after I got a Nigerian student who now picked up that position, before the man now realized that, oh, they were just quarreling. This guy was under pressure working for time so that he can deliver to WHO. That guy is feeling, yeah, disturbing time is not important in this thing. So you can see we are all human beings. Your supervisor also has his own. For instance, if you are unfortunate that you're working under a supervisor who needs your paper, maybe to go for a professional promotion, and he wants to do that in the next 1 year or 2 years, and he sees that you are not pushing these things out, he is going to get quarreling with you. So please, let's just identify issues, know what they are, and then we'll solve them. And I believe as human beings, we need to pray, and also that God should give you the person that you people can connect together. It's like trying to marry a wife, you know. No matter how you have tried to search and all that, you can still really be unfortunate.
That's true.
So
You
you have to put all these. So please, I think with this, I have to stop here, and I hope we'll be able to pick 1 or 2 things from the conversation. Yes, please, I am always open for any assistance if you have an issue with your work or what do you call it, application. We can always be there to help. I thank you so much for the opportunity, Buhari. Abdulkadir, I can see you. Are you in Nigeria that are wearing this? Or you just want to feel at home?
Abdulkadir?
Yeah, muted, Abdulkadir. I can't hear you.
I just want to feel at home.
You want to feel at home, you miss home, baby.
MashaAllah, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Professor Bashir Bello. That's a wonderful and excellent insight, and you've really like taken us to the maximum how can I say excitement and experience and insight. Thank you very much once again for this golden words and advice. Especially you are in a very unique position. You were once a student and now you are a supervisor, so you have seen it all from all the perspective. So thank you very much, and I think with that, here we come to the end of the second round. I'm sorry, Dr. Nura Adu, I think we don't have time to take for the second round. But
I am back already.
You are okay. I think maybe you will come during question and answers.
Buhari, a lot of hands are raising hands. Everybody is raising their hands, so you have to give opportunity.
Yes. I think we just go to the question and answer. There are a lot of questions with Dr. Mira. We don't have time for that, but thank you very much for your input. But before we go to the question and answers, okay, I think we can just go directly. Sunusi Abdul Karim, Sunusi, you have already asked question. Are you sure? Maybe you can. I will come back to you when we finish with the rest. Sorry, Sunusi.
Sorry, sir.
Actually, for Sunusi, Sadihu left his email, so we will send it. If you have further question for Salihu, you can ask him directly on his email.
Yes, sir. Well, I have another question for Dr. Chutiami. Sorry, sir.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
I learned that Dr. Chutiami is my alma something. He is also studying in Australia. Doctor, this year I have an experience with Australia. I applied for PhD in University of Sydney. I got so kind. I was able to pass all the process. Right now, I have my admission for PhD. However, my major issue is that now they release the scholarship, two scholarships. I applied for three scholarships. Under three scholarships, one is RTC, while the other one is University of Scholarship, and the third one is school or faculty scholarships. Sir, I find it very difficult to understand some of the criteria that you are using in Australia, because they provide the options for differing. Now I didn't get the scholarship. They say that if I have for RTP, the results say that if I publish another papers, then I can apply. Then there's option for differing the admissions until next sessions or next semester. So I don't know whether you can help me at least throw more light or advice concerning these issues, because I really need this PhD for my career progressions. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. So thank you, Sanusi. And first of all, congratulations to even pass through to secure admission at University of Sydney. It's among the top 50, I think, around in the world. So it's quite a top university. So I think one thing before we come down to the University of Sydney, if you can scale through to get admission at the University of Sydney, I'm 100% sure you can easily get opportunity in other universities, because this is like one of the top 3 universities in Australia and among the top 100 in the world. So why not, with the same application, the same proposal, why not apply other universities? It can be in Sydney, for example, Western Sydney University can be where I am working, University of Technology Sydney, which is just very close to University of Sydney. So try to go for this a bit less competitive university. The reason why you didn't get the scholarship, I said University of Technology Sydney, and there is Western Sydney University.
Okay.
So all these are great universities, so you have less competition, and I'm sure you stand a big chance. The reason why many of the times you can get admission in such big universities and you don't get scholarship is the level of the competition. So what they do is, I trust the system. It's 100% objective. So what they do is, let's say the university is giving has through for 100 students. So they will assign points for you based on your number of publication, based on your quality of publication, and then all other things come together. So which means if you don't get it now, it means among the people that applied, maybe those that were selected, they slightly have higher number of, for example, publication or quality publication than you. And that is why they said, do some more publication and reapply again, because you still stand a good chance. But my biggest advice is, while you're doing this, please try the other universities. Even try University of Newcastle. It's a very good one, and I think you may get it.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir, for that advice. Please, sir, can you help me for your contact for further discussions?
Yeah. So you can just shoot me on Facebook, and then we can communicate. I will give you email. So Muhammad Shutiani is my Facebook handle. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Doctor, for responding to that. Abubakar Musa Saula. Okay. Hello. Okay, Abdullah Sagagi. Sunusi Abdul Karim, you can mute your mic since you, I think you have already. Abdullah Tijani Usman.
Hello. Can you hear me? Can you hear?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead, Tijani Usman. Go ahead.
Tijani needs to unmute himself.
Tijani Usman, we are not hearing you. Okay, Muhammad Umar. Okay, Tijani Usman, go ahead, but we cannot hear you. You have to unmute yourself. Tijani Usman, you are not audible. Please unmute yourself. Okay,
And just
Salih.
say not Salih, who is still here. If anyone has a quick question, he got delayed at the airport.
Oh, okay. Salis Awal, you can ask question.
Thank you very much for this. Hope in future you'll organize similar presenters. Please, I have to.
Sorry.
Your network is not good. We can't hear you.
Actually. Salis Awal, we cannot hear you. Your network is breaking. Okay, I think now you can go ahead. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, I said I have a question to Ibrahim Haruna from Taiwan, please.
Okay, Ibrahim Haruna, are you still here? Ask your question. Go ahead and ask.
Okay, please. I am applying for the Taiwan government scholarship, which I think they will open 1st of February. So I wanted to ask him on some key points that he can suggest to me because I'm applying for PhD, and if he also has maybe a professor to recommend to me. So please, this is my question. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Ibrahim. Maybe you can, just for the benefit of others, maybe you can respond to the question here quickly. Otherwise, I would say you should contact you privately, but for the sake of others, quickly respond to that.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much for your question. Firstly, for the Taiwan government scholarship, you don't necessarily need a supervisor for you to get admitted to the PhD program. But like we always advise, having a supervisor can increase your chances of getting admission. It depends on the university you're applying to. But the most important thing is you need to choose your university based on that embassy's recommendation, because embassy will give a list of universities that you can apply, that you can apply for the Ministry of Education scholarship. Those that offer their PhD programs completely in English, like National Taiwan University and can remember National Chengqing University. They also offer they have some programs in English, even though I don't know your program. I don't know your area of research.
Yeah, my area is environmental science or chemistry. Any of this.
Okay. I think you have to consider those universities that they offer chemistry or environmental science in English. Then you can apply for the Ministry of Education scholarship. And you apply it through the embassy, trade office of Taiwan in Nigeria, in Lagos. So you submit your hard copy documents to the trade office by January to March. And then you need to get admission letter for the fall admission, not spring. If you get a spring admission, they may not consider you. So it is always advisable to consider the fall admission and the English language programs, and then PhD programs, of course. But getting advisor is not necessary. And unfortunately, I'm into cancer biology, so I may not know some professors in chemistry. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
But
no, thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah,
Okay.
Email and we can get in touch. Good
Okay,
luck.
thank you very much. And yeah, please, I need your email because I'm not also in Nigeria. I'm in another country. I'm in Malaysia, precisely.
Okay,
so
okay.
please, if I can get your email, it will really help.
Yeah, definitely, sure.
Muhammad Umar. Thank you very much.
Okay, I will check the comment section. Thank you very much.
Okay, Abdullah Sagagi.
About it, there are some questions in the message sections.
Okay, maybe I would rather we can go through them, then select some few of them, and then.
Okay, that is.
I've tried to answer some.
Okay, there is a question from Zahraddin Usman. He says, I'm by name Zahraddin Usman, Ahmed winner of Russian Open Door Scholarship. I'm witnessing a series of challenges attached to winning a scholarship, more especially this one I won, which only covers tuition fees, free tuition fee, I think he wants to say that, and stipend. Currently now I have my visa at hand, still can't afford the traveling fund, maybe flight ticket. So I had to let it go or apply for 1 year sabbatical leave. So his question is not really clear, but from what I can deduce, he is trying to narrate his experience, even though he got the scholarship, but due to some financial constraint, he could not travel, I think.
Yeah, that is.
Usman, if you are listening to us,
it happens. This sometimes
is
very unfortunate, but it happens, and I think that was one of the issues raised with the application. That is financial issues. It's really a, how can I say, a barrier or a very strong hold on getting the scholarship. So I think maybe since he already give it up, then he should not give up also. He should really try to apply more and then get more and see how he can solicit some assistance from family and friends so that he can be able to achieve his dream.
Another person, he stated that they are having challenges regarding recommendation letters from Nigerian professors.
Professor Bashir, this is a very serious problem that I think maybe we need to, I don't know, since you are already professor, maybe you need to lead this kind of session so that we can really, how can I say, I would not say mentor or try to advise.
It's a survival of the fittest. Even them, they want to leave.
You see, like I always say, my position here is I have to come from the both sides. Now, an undergraduate student who you know is very nonchalant, who you cannot attest to his character, will just slide into your DM and say, "Sir, I want a recommendation letter." That's the problem.
That's true.
Students should also know that the way you're assessing your lecturer's character, the lecturers are also assessing you.
That's true.
You know, but of course, you know, our own type of frustration back home in Nigeria. You know, like, what am I you want to go to?
That's true.
You know?
Or sometimes, for example, even if they agree to write the recommendation, but they will just write a very simple sentence like that. Maybe it will help a little, like nothing will change in the application, something like that.
Like, you know, what I want us to understand here is not to always fault my colleagues. The problem is they have never been to that situation, and you know, we have this obsolete system of education back home. Something you have learned 300 years is still what you are doing.
Prof. Bashir, if I may come in, I know, you know, we have been in the system and we know what some of these professors are thinking. You know, sometimes it is difficult for them to sit down and start writing or drafting a letter. So the best way to approach them, if you know you have but first, as you have said, you have to establish a good relationship with the professor or the lecturer in question. Then secondly, what you will do is to just search online, get a draft, rephrase it based on your own, to suit your own application. Then you take it to him. If he reads it and he is convinced that it is a very good recommendation letter, he can just sign and give you so that you can do or if he has a letter-headed paper, he can print it there and sign. Then you can go and forward it. Because some of them, to be frank, they are lazy. They don't want to write, and you know the frustration, as you have said.
You see, like I tell you, it is that what you have done can even lead you to another bigger problem.
So that's another. That's why I say you have to understand him and establish if you have a very good this thing with him.
Like I said, the main thing is there must be a rapport you have created between you and that person you want a recommendation letter. So that you see, we are usually, you know, our culture and tradition, how we like people to approach us. Number one, the person you're looking for recommendation from him should see that that you really need that, you require that thing for you to get to whatever you want to do in life. So there must be an underground discussion that, sir, I need a letter. That letter should portray that I've been this, I've been that. In fact, I did ABCD with you, sir. You know, you've been trying to give him what the content should be like. Okay, to he can we'll see what we'll lose. You know? But sometimes when you just hit these things, they're like, some of them feel threatened.
That's very true. That's
So
very
please,
true.
it requires wisdom.
I hope the
Let's use
students
wisdom.
already hear this advice and will get on. I think
Sorry, I would like to add one point here, Prof.
Oh, okay, Dr. Salu.
Yeah, sorry. In addition to what Prof has said, finding the right recommender is a key, because sometimes you cannot like just look at someone at your level to write you a recommendation letter. You understand? And also you make sure that he uses his university email rather than his personal email, because most of those institutions, they know the manipulation. Sometimes people manipulate things, so if they try to look at all those things, where is the university email? Sometimes it can be written on the letter headed. That is really important. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, Dr. Bahari, sorry, I think at this juncture, I will always want to advise. If you're looking for a recommendation letter, talk on your personality and character that you have been through this university or through a department. Always seek the HOD or dean or somebody who has an authoritative position in the university. It carries more weight than just an ordinary lecturer in the department. So don't always feel because it's just a lecturer, No. The university wants to say that you have a close relationship to the authority. Yes, just like the ambassador of Nigeria writing on your behalf. You can imagine what the strength that letter will carry.
That's true.
So please, let's put that at the back of our mind.
Thank you, Professor. I hope they will take
So
this.
there are a lot of questions, but we already shared our email, the message section, and you can also ask other questions through Facebook and all that, and we can establish contact.
Yeah, that's true. So I think to quickly summarize our session, we have already heard from our esteemed scholars from diverse background, and I can really say on behalf of the audience that this is a very interesting and very insightful webinar. And like I said, the reason why GMG Educational and Mentorship Forum organized this webinar is first of all to address some of the challenges that usually students face during their application, which we have been talking about for quite some time now. And then a very unique topic that is not usually talked about in a forum like this, that is the challenges that you may face after you get the scholarship. The aim is not to discourage you, of course, but is to try to guide you through and highlight some of the challenges that you may potentially run into, and then you will to advise you how to navigate through them and then become out successful. Some of the issues you can avoid them when you know them heads up, but some of them they are unavoidable and they are unpredictable. And each problem sometimes they are unique. Some of the problem this one may face is different from some the other person may face. So it's unique. So always, my advice based on what we have talked today is be patient. Wherever you find yourself, be patient. Things are not coming as easy as we may want it. So wherever you find yourself, either it is financial, academic, social, whatever, try to be patient and understand the situation and try to get advice from mentors, and then keep pushing. Don't stop, keep pushing, and then at the end I'm sure you will come out victorious. Thank you very much, our esteemed scholars, that despite your scheduled time, you may notice that some of the scholars were on the announcement poster, but unfortunately we couldn't have them here due to unavoidable circumstances. But luckily enough, we have other esteemed scholars that have substituted them and shared their personal experience. And our special thanks to our special guest in person of Professor Bashir Bello and that Saluhu, for giving us a very useful insight from their perspective, and I'm sure that really benefits all of us. And also thanks to our audience for always engaging with us, to hear with us, and then to benefit from what our esteemed scholars are always ready to share. I hope we can use what we learn and hear today so that we can implement them and try to see we can improve our applications and also try to avoid some certain challenges. Thank you very much, everyone. I think I will hand over to our host and then he will conclude the webinar. Abdul Qadir, over to you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Buhari, and special thanks to the audience and also the presenters. I'm very optimistic that with this large number of audience, what you've listened will have an impact on your applications. And for those who already got their scholarships, as we can see from the comments, I hope the post application guides also will guide you towards succeeding in your academia. And one most important thing is you should never give up. And the key is hard working. I had a lot of successful people trying to tell the secret of their success. They always mentioned hard working, consistency, persistency, patience. So I advise you, be consistent, be patient, be persistent to your dream. And most important, we have to clear our intention why we are doing this. At times, we don't need the scholarship. That's just the truth. At times, we don't need the master's. At times, we don't need the PhD. But because Mr. X, Y, and Z, they did master's or PhD, also I want to do it. So we should clearly see our lifestyle, our dream, and we should clearly define our goal before we pursue any career in our life. Otherwise, I have seen a lot of PhD holders who at the end, they said, why I did this. So you should definitely define the reason why you are doing it and then continue doing it with the persistency and patience. Please follow Gamji on Facebook. We have our name, Gamji Education and Mentorship Forum. We have a Telegram. We'll update on the Facebook, all our Telegram, Instagram, and Twitter channels. Also, we have a WhatsApp group for the mentees and those who want to volunteer as mentors. Thank you very much and have a good weekend.
Thank you very much, everyone. Sure.